everyone, welcome to our new mid-market ecosystem innovation video series. So this is a new segment for any viewers of the regular channel. We're going to focus more on mid-market ecosystem innovation as well. Invoice management is something that I've covered before, but this is going to be really centered around mid-market and mid-sized companies. And as we know, because of the pandemic, going digital is the big thing. It's more important today than it's ever been. But if you're a mid-sized company, well, that kind of presents other challenges because there's OCR solutions available. There's lots of AP solutions available. But often what you find is they're too big. And you've got a mid-sized company who's looking to basically do what you do in an enterprise organization, but hey, we need to do it ourselves and we can't pay enterprise money. And you've got to be agile. The scale of your operations tends to be smaller. So getting your arms around all of the issues in AP, well, it can be a big ask. And I know from firsthand experience, AP teams can get very, very stressed. So where do you prioritize? And how do we get procurement and AP to harmonize their processes, as well as look at digitization as a whole? How do we reduce the heavy lifting on AP? Well, SAP's already got solutions in place for mid-sized companies that can help you. So we talk about the digital supply network. That's already a very fast implementation of the SAP digital supply network. Helps the collaboration between buyers and suppliers. You digitize your invoice process, intelligent rules to stop invoices even hitting AP because they may have challenges on them already. So you stop the rubbish from getting in, so to speak. And then we also have Snap, which does the full P2P process, and it can be implemented in as fast as 5 weeks. And by the way, this isn't just for SAP customers. When you talk about integration and you integrate into non-SAP ERPs, which is typical in the mid-size segment, go and check out my video that we did with Symbeo, where their mid-size integration app will help mid-sized companies integrate to any ERP. But smaller suppliers, they still use paper. So we can talk about digital all day long, but smaller suppliers and even medium-sized suppliers and large suppliers still use paper. There's still the use of PDFs. There's a lot of challenges around that. I mean, mid-sized companies, again, how do you get your arms around it? It's taking up a lot of time where you don't want to be using your time there because, hey, you've got other challenges. So how do we make that a bit more seamless, in a fully integrated way, yet at a price that is tailor-made for mid-market companies? We want to be agile, take that pain away. So today we're going to talk to Symbeo, who have done exactly that. So let me introduce you to Carlos, who's the VP of Operations at Symbeo, and Brandon, who's the Symbeo president, to talk more about their solution and what they're launching very soon, to see how they help us. So hi guys, thank you very much for jumping on the video today. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Mo.
Thank you.
No worries at all. So Brandon, why don't you give us a bit of an overview? I mean, what is Symbeo? What do you guys do? Give us some background, please.
Sure, yeah, and thank you again for having us on, Mo. Symbeo is an accounts payable processing business for almost 20 years. Our traditional business process automation transforms the manual invoices into ERP-ready data to minimize the interventions needed by the AP staff. Symbeo saw the need in the industry to build a solution for the mid-market. We are blending our deep knowledge and expertise in AP processing with the latest machine learning and artificial intelligence technology to deliver the Symbeo digital capture AP solution that we're talking about today. This solution brings capability and cost effectiveness to all companies ranging from mid-market through the enterprise level. We are excited to be launching the solution in the SAP store to focus first on the needs of your SAP audience.
Great, that's excellent. So you guys have been doing this for quite a long time. So going down to the mid-market that's great, because it's something that we've always needed, and I think mid-sized companies appreciate that. So can you give us an example of why is it that you went down to mid-size? I mean, I know that I talk to customers that need it, but as a business, what did you see that made you go down that road?
Yeah, it's really, as you alluded to, even after decades of trying to go paperless, processing paper invoices still represents 30% of the AP transactions in the US and up to 70% internationally. Traditionally, once AP administration person scans the paper or receives an invoice image, they still have to read and manually type all the header and data lines into the ERP system. This is where Symbeo's machine learning and AI-assisted digital capture product comes in.
Okay, so that's cool. So in effect, you're taking the paper, you're turning it into an electronic document, pushing that through so that AP no longer has to key in any of the invoices. And then it's really the AP engine that they have in place that would pick that up. And whether that is, the Ariba Snap solution or it's their own ERP, it can pick it up and then process that invoice as you would normally, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And Carlos, so that's kind of, that gives us the background, and it's absolutely the right thing to do. It's definitely needed in mid-sized companies. Can you just give us a bit more around how that hangs together? What is the technology behind it? And what is it how does it all work? How does it hang together?
Yeah, so we're aware of these problems. We've having worked in the enterprise space for many years. We're aware of the problems, and we're able to address them now in the mid-market by integrating with the most comprehensive technologies in the space. So that, and also as this technology continues to mature, our customers can take advantage of it every step of the way. So we're working with top tier providers, Google Cloud, Amazon AWS, Microsoft Azure, to this end.
Okay. And in terms of what that looks like as a process, can we talk through what it is that Symbeo provides, how a paper invoice is then managed through the system? Where does it start? Where does it end? Could you just give us some background around how the app works?
Yeah, so here's a process diagram, an overview of the digital capture process from receiving through delivery to the downstream system. Mm-hmm. And essentially what we're doing as a result of our entire Symbeo process, we will reduce the AP effort by about 50%, and we'll reduce the overall processing time by up to 75%. And so the way that we do it is the intake process is really important. So handling the intake process and the mailroom component, removing the customer from having to collect the invoices and scan them, open up the envelopes, prep it, scanning it, and then we also perform the document separation. So we're combining the pages into the individual documents that might be inside of a single envelope. Then we classify the documents into their appropriate document type, and then the invoice is routed to our OCR machine learning and AI engine. That's doing a really good job, and it keeps getting better. And then Symbeo has a lot of experience in this space. So we have a proprietary smart post-OCR transformation engine that we apply to the OCR output. And that further reduces the amount of effort that the AP team is going to spend, because we take this raw OCR output and we convert it into more ERP-friendly data before we deliver it to the AP team so that they can complete the processing. And the entire Symbeo process from receiving through delivery is done from one day to the next.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And you guys have a PO box, so the customer would send the invoices, they route them through to a PO box, and you guys pick that up and then handle the process as you just described. Correct?
Yes, exactly. So we'll set you up with a PO box and an email address, and then we can also assist you with the transition letters to the vendors to notify them of the process change.
Yep.
And to go over any instructions that we want to include for the vendors as you move towards this new digital platform. And so we'll help just take the paper away on day one and handle all of the input.
And particularly at the moment, right, with everything going on with the pandemic, people aren't sitting in the office receiving or managing any envelopes coming in. So this process is really going to help in this era. And it means that, again, for me, it's been really important for people to understand that going digital is more important now than it's ever been. It's always been something, in my view, that's been kind of pushed to the back, for so long. But you can see how important it is and how efficient it makes the process. So this makes a lot of sense. Have you got any customer examples where you've implemented this and the kind of benefits that they've seen as a result?
Yes, we do have a number of examples. I think Jones Lang LaSalle is a really good example. JLL, they're an example of a Symbeo customer who's taken full advantage of Symbeo's mailroom and invoice data extraction services. And to your point, as a property management company, they have hundreds of locations around the country, and the cost of just the mail handling alone supported the business case for moving to Symbeo. In this post-COVID environment, it is challenging for managing the post office, the mail that's coming in. Some offices don't even have people in them right now, and so it is definitely a problem. And the Symbeo solution really helps address that, and it helps address companies that are trying to figure out their new physical footprint in a post-COVID world. What's that going to look like? Well, you really don't have to worry about the mailroom side, and so that can really impact some major decisions on how companies design their footprint in a post-COVID area. Yeah. So to go back to JLL, if you can imagine this large property management company, in the past they had to track down countless invoices sitting on desks around the country. This delayed payments of utility bills that could have a major impact on their client base. Symbeo was a great fit because the JLL no longer has to worry about collecting these distributed invoices, and on top of that, we're also capturing all the primary invoice data that the JLL AP team needs to apply those final ERP data points to the invoice and then process the payment.
At SAP, we're very we're not just buyer centric, right? We see this as a two-sided model with the buyers and the suppliers, and having invoices sitting on desks or not being processed in quick enough time, that has an impact on the suppliers. It has an impact on the relationship between the buyers and suppliers. And in addition to that, I think something that you mentioned earlier, the early payment discounts, where you can't take advantage of them if you're not processing them quick enough. So that is, again, an additional benefit that I think this solution gives. That and in mid-sized companies, that's even more important. I mean, everybody's looking for discounts today. Everybody's looking for ways of either saving costs, reducing costs, and that's great. And it sounds like it worked out for them quite well.
Yeah, JLL's very happy with the solution. They don't have a mailroom component anymore. We removed the keying of the basic fundamental invoice data. The AP team still has to handle the lines and apply the ERP IDs, but we've streamlined 50% of their work. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Manual processing of invoices is expensive, right? I mean, what is the rough cost that you're seeing if the industry standard of processing an invoice nowadays, right? It's manual processing costs quite a lot of money, does it not?
As we know, manual invoice processing can be very expensive. The industry standard is between $12 and $15 per invoice. There's no reason why a modern company needs to spend that much on an outdated, manual, and inefficient process anymore. And there's no reason to carry the risk of late payments, lost invoices, or missing mail.
And even mid-sized companies, if you're a manufacturing organization, you can still be processing up to 100,000 plus invoices. And if you're doing that at that kind of cost, you know, it just goes to show how much it actually costs you and the amount of people that you need to manage that as well. You know, there's a lot of talent today that, and I know this again through a recent study that was done where, you know, individuals and organizations, especially in AP, in some cases procurement as well, don't feel like they're really utilizing their knowledge, their experience. So, you know, making that more efficient isn't necessarily just about, you know, the number of people and seeing what you can do with that, but it's utilizing the talent more effectively. So this again kind of goes in that direction too.
Yeah, that's an important point, Mo. Yeah, with the mid-size company, it's not always about head count reduction. There, it's about lifting the skill set and allowing the AP to be more strategic. Exactly. So, are there things that you can do to get rid of sort of the bulk, the heavy lifting, or the bulk sort of main foundational processing, that AP doesn't have to deal with that, and they can focus on more strategic initiatives, the harder stuff that really requires that the higher knowledge that they have for their particular industry and for their particular business needs.
That's where ML and AI really help, right, Brandon? I mean, looking at what Symbeo are doing, the utilization of ML and AI in your processing, I think that's, in mid-sized companies, actually, you have to innovate more in order to achieve the results that you want. So I think your company's direction is utilizing that technology to help them, right?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a great time to blend those things together. We've kind of been waiting for this. We've tried to be on the cutting edge, but now is the time when we can blend it all together and really take advantage of that for these mid-market solutions that we're being, I know you're being kind of begged for a good solution here, and we were as well. And to be able to combine these efforts is a wonderful launching point.
Thanks a lot. No, that's been great. So, so guys, we've talked about the solution, we've talked about the process, we've talked about why it's important to mid-market, mid-sized companies. But given that you've been doing this in enterprise, how have you managed to get that throughput, that scale down to mid-size, and how have you achieved that, and what have you achieved? Maybe this will help the audience understand that as well.
Right. Well, I would say that the fact that Symbeo has these industrial processing centers, we have very high volume, high quality scanners, and consolidated production teams that are performing up to 250,000 documents per day in processing. So having that large volume allows us to really experience and take advantage of the economies of scale that you get when you have such high volumes. And that's really helping us provide a competitive pricing for this solution. That's going to be difficult to achieve without being able to have the volume and the economies of scale that Symbeo's been able to build up to over the years.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of investment that goes into this kind of solution, right? And when we talk about ML and AI, people kind of almost take that for granted, but that takes a lot of work to keep going and make sure that it's learning at the right pace, etc. So, so you've been able to leverage all of that experience and utilize it now and package it up for a mid-sized company. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this volume, the amount of work that we process, it's great for machine learning and AI because those technologies, they're all about predicting future behavior based on historical patterns.
Right.
And so the fact that we're building up so much information is going to really give us a nice path to our process improvement and the ongoing improvements that the customer is going to be subscribed to automatically with the Symbeo solution. So they'll upgrade along with Symbeo as we continue to enhance the engines.
Thanks a lot. No, that's been great. So look, guys, I think we've given a good some good information, some good background onto how it works. But you know, let's put some links into the video description so that they can reach out to you direct. I also believe that this is already on the SAP Ariba App Store, so you can just go directly to the SAP Ariba App Store and look at it. Correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so that makes the transaction simple as well. You can get all of the information there. There's videos, etc., that cover the background and FAQs. And if you need any further information, you can reach out to any one of us, and we'll connect you into the right people.
Excellent.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mo.